Welcome back to the Bullhucker podcast. I'm Moose Lundstrom.
I'm Adam Vokey.
And we have the spawn of a regular.
The spawn.
The spawn. Miss Dency Kudron's daughter, Chloe Hirschfeld.
Wow. Hi.
That's how you're known
The
for it.
Spawn.
The spawn.
Okay.
The original one.
Sure.
Yeah, because remember you weren't even here.
I was probably in Ohio.
I guess every time Dency has an anniversary, this one makes fun of her. Right?
I mean, she's kind of an easy target.
Yeah, she's like,
You
oh,
know?
Yeah, that's true.
Mom, it's your personal best. And like, she gets all hurt. She gets a little hurt when he said it. Because when she told me, I started laughing. And she's like, you know, at first I hurt my feelings. But now I'm like, who gives a shit? You know,
And you can't argue it.
no, you can't.
That's the real kicker.
Setting records.
High five.
Oh. Also, you've never came up on the podcast, but Wild has came up on the podcast.
Wilder.
Yeah, okay.
I know you take offense to the fact that we added the ER.
I am not going to call that boy that. Because, you know, you like Wilder, don't you?
Mm-hmm. I do.
No. Let me explain something to you. When he's in high school, they're going to call him Wild. No one's going to call him Wilder. Maybe a girlfriend or his asshole friends. But no one's going to call him Wild. He's going to
Someone.
be Wild. You.
You know, I'm a little nervous for that.
Really?
John and I talk. I mean, he's living up to his name thus far. And
Is
so
he?
we're like, next time it's going to be calmer.
Yeah.
You know, we're just going to put the vibes out because we
Right.
can't fucking do this again.
Right.
So what's your kids? Wilder and chill.
I mean, you know, we're tossing shit around.
This is Wilder. This is boring as fuck. That's what we named him. Sorry, son. Baff. That's what we call him, Baff.
It's tempting. I'll come back next time and let you know what we settle on.
But you know what? If you say that, I'll call him as fuck. That's what I'm going to call him.
Okay, so my kid will never meet Larry.
Yeah.
Got it.
probably a good rule in general. So, but if you're new to the Bullhucker, what we do here is we bring on a guest. This one's Chloe Hirschfeld. And Chloe's going to tell us 3 stories about her life. The kicker is only 2 of the stories are true. One is a Bullhucker. It's a lie, a fib. It's not real. So, Chloe, without going into great detail, what the Bullhucker, is it not real because it's borrowed, or did you make it up, or is it a mix?
Parts are not true.
Okay. All right. So, not true. So, it was a true story that you corrupted.
Correct.
That's better.
Facts.
Those are tougher.
They are.
I will say the last person got us both.
Really?
Yep.
Yes. I'm still like bummed out about it because he did a very interesting tactic. So, I guess.
Wait, tell me about the tactic.
So the tactic was that he brought up a very. It's a story that was kind of true, like yours,
Right.
but I mean, what little I knew of him, that's what he came at us with. So when he told the story, I was like, "Oh, this is it. This is the true
Yeah.
one."
He's
Okay.
like very passionate about it.
Yeah, his had
Right.
tons of detail in it too. So
Okay.
yeah, and like the one I picked, I was like, no. So when he pulled that thing out, I was like, son of a bitch, Kevin, good for you, man.
Okay.
And then we badmouthed him as soon as he walked out the door.
Thank you, Kevin.
Kevin Stroud, you son of a bitch. We forgot to tell her how we know each other. I know you through Dencia
Correct.
because I met Dencia and Carrie a little over a decade ago. You were still in high school.
But you also went to school with my father-in-law. Accurate?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
John Hirschfeld Sr. Yeah, he was 2 years. That's right. I forgot.
Small world.
It's a small world.
It is. Yeah, because
And-
I remember we met before my wedding and you were like, I know who you're marrying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you said John Hurst, but your husband was like little. Like I remember him when he was a child, you know, because they had him early,
Right.
like in high school.
Yeah.
Or no.
Yeah. John and I uniquely have very parallel stories,
Right.
you know? Mm-hmm.
Parents that had, because you were,
Yeah.
Dency was 16, 17.
Rick may or may not have been 15 when Dents got pregnant
I love it.
with me, so.
And if you see the pictures of Rick Stroh back then, it's hilarious. He's such a baby face in his pictures. You
But a
know?
badass mullet.
It was a badass mullet. Even I was jealous of the mullet. You know about me and mullets,
Oh, yeah.
dude. I took pride in my fat AC Slater mullet.
Rick might have put it to shame.
It was. Him and Ryan both had that. Ryan had a little goth thing going on, though.
Yeah, I could see
Yeah.
that. Well, because like the Alice Cooper thing, you know? Yeah.
But yeah, I saw the picture. I was like, "Jeez, Dency,
Yeah.
he's a child."
He is. Rick likes to tell the story about how Dents was his babysitter. And, like, that's how I came about. And at first it was, like, kind of funny and, like, charming. And now I'm like, Dad, it's getting creepy. You know? Come on, a babysitter?
You know, I'd be like, you know what? Talk to your mother. She's the creepy one, okay?
Because I remember hearing the babysitter thing too. Rick always like, yeah, hooked up with my babysitter.
Yeah, it's a thing, Adam. It's a thing.
We were playing Uno, having a good time. Next thing I know, I'm not wearing pants. I don't know
Honest,
what's happening right now.
slapjack gone wrong, am I right? Like, come on, Ricky. Jeez.
That's about it, too. Your poor father. I love Rick Stroh. Look, I love you, Rick. You're my boy. So, because I met him, and they owned Stroh's still. That's back when the
Right.
restaurant was still open.
Right.
And that was their Budweiser guy, back when I had Route 60, and I was the...
Oh, yeah, the good old bar out.
So I would sit at Stroh's, who
Okay.
bought 2 cases of beer, by far my smallest customer, but I'd be there for 2 hours bullshitting with Rick. You know, like...
Naturally.
Yeah, they're like, why are you at Stroh's so long? I'm like, oh, they're so difficult.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, like, biggest order.
Right. The guy's a real pain in the ass. And he's been telling me stories, you know. So, yeah.
Small world, though.
How did you meet him?
I met Chloe the same night I met your mom
Oh.
at that comedy show at Club Tap.
Okay. Oh.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And she was my first autograph that I gave out when I started doing comedy. I signed her foot with a highlighter.
Wow.
I don't even know why.
Yeah.
I mean, I walked in there at 4 o'clock and Ryan set a shot down on the bar and said, drink that. And I was like, what is it? He's like, just drink it. I was like, okay. And that was how my night started.
So you didn't wash that foot for like 2 months, right, Chloe? That's...
Still hasn't been washed.
Thank
What
you.
are you talking about?
Thank you.
She probably had wet wipes 30 minutes later. I feel so dirty.
That's right.
Your words, not mine.
When she's giving birth to her child, the nurse is like, what's written on your foot?
Yeah, she, had a
Do you know Adam poking?
she had it tattooed over.
She's like, do I? She pulls out her boob. Huh? I thought it looked familiar. That's...
I never signed a boob.
Oh, I bet.
Never.
Nope. Maybe that's going to go on my bucket list.
Okay.
I
We got to
don't-
make that happen, Larry.
You know what?
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. We're going to have to go drinking again.
All right, I'm in.
But I got to be in bed by 8:30 because I wake up early, you
Let's say
know?
we can't do it this weekend. My girlfriend will be here. So,
Who I also know.
yes, I know.
Small world.
Do you know Brandy or do you just
Well,
know
I don't
Katie?
know Katie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's Katie?
My girlfriend's daughter.
Your
who
daughter-in-law.
is-
Who dates my
Dates.
brother-in-law.
Okay.
So Katie's dating.
There's a second Hirschfeld?
There's 3 Hirschfelds.
I'll be damned, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Oh, I guess I was at the wedding. I did know that, actually.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah. You all made it probably way longer than I did at my own wedding.
Yeah, it was a pretty drunken... It was,
I Irish goodbye'd my own wedding at like 10 p.m. So like anyone probably made it longer than I did.
but you know what? Out of all the Stroh weddings, that was the...
Record.
Yeah, it was the record. It was some fun ones, dude. It was... Your family's awesome. Eventually, I'm going to have everybody in your family on this podcast.
Okay, good. Because I was thinking Gage would be hilarious.
Dancia said that. I said,
Yeah.
tell Gage to come down. It makes me laugh because Gage is like 7 foot tall now, isn't he? He's
Massive.
so tall. Yeah, like
Massive.
when I saw him, I was like, oh my God. Because I remember when he was like this skinny little kid. And now he's... Yeah, Gage he's a big boy now.
He's not a small person.
No, we were making fun of his picture with Carrie when your parents had their anniversary picture because he does have like the tattoo from Fantasy Island look thing going, like the cracker tattoo. That's what he, dude, he does. I should put that picture on here because every time I see it, I laugh. And he's so happy and content to be there. Just,
And I also feel like this picture came up in another episode.
it was with Dancy.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't know. Your mom's been on a bunch of these podcasts, so
She has.
because she's my funny friend that.
Your only funny friend.
It's
Just kidding.
I'm leaving. Where's my phone? I'm going to call Dempsey and have her come fill in for me.
So,
Just
okay. Well, also, before I forget to tell you, thank you, Sands Theater, for letting us do this here, by the way. So,
Yeah.
you know, Chelsea's not going crazy right now. Like, we're going to thank you, you stupid bastard. Thank you, and thank you, Chamber of Commerce, Matt Gordon, and the rest of them for letting us do it here. Super nice of them. The theater is pretty awesome. It's a good place to do a podcast. I like the ambiance.
I do
of it.
too. It's a cool vibe.
Yeah, it is a cool vibe. So thank you guys so much, and please make sure when the Sands Theater opens, you come and support it whenever it opens, if that ever happens. So it will eventually, man. You know, need to find an electrician.
Oh,
I'm not licensed. I can't do it.
Well, you
that's
know what?
okay.
I mean, you know what you're doing, though,
I
right?
know the theory behind it.
Red, yellow.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that a thing? Right?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Two different voltage.
Yeah, pluses
things,
and
but
minuses.
Look at you, genius.
You know.
Needs a Fort Morgan education's way better than a brush because it's not good. So
Go Stangs.
go Stangs.
Just
So, all right. Well, we got 3 stories out. You want to read them off?
Okay, we've got Peruvian squatters. I'm getting drunk on airplane and devil's lettuce.
Is that a reference to I'm getting drunk on a boat?
No, it's
Okay.
the song. Like, it's a country song. I'm getting drunk on a plane.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Who sings that?
I Can't remember.
I don't know either.
I'm gonna tell the rest of the Redneck Nation they're gonna kick you out.
I know. I just lost status.
Well,
Did you have status?
Yeah, at some point, yeah.
Okay.
There was one time he like brings. Well, this is back when we were doing comedy. He's like, dude, and he brought like the top 100 country songs from like 1950 to 1970 or 79, and he's like going through. He's like, who is this? I was like, that's Willie Nelson. That's I was naming off all these.
Okay.
He looked at me. He's like, how do you know this? I'm like, dude, you got to know that to date your sister. Come on now. I mean,
that's right.
I was killing him. Eddie Rabbit.
Apparently, you never tried to get laid in a barn, Larry.
Nope.
Joke's on you, Lundstrom.
Yeah. My
The more you answer, the better pick you get.
That's right. Well, my sister's a lesbian, so I'm not sure to what genre I
So-
got to know that.
Joke is on Adam.
Yeah, joke's
Turns
on
out my other turns have tabled.
By the way, I want to say I'm thankful that she's aiming her aim towards you. Usually it's aimed towards me, so that's a nice change.
I'll shift.
Okay, we still got 40 more minutes, so it could happen. So, well, you picked last time, so I'm gonna pick this time. How's that
All right,
sound?
sounds good.
I'm gonna go with the devil's lettuce.
Okay. So, I had a wild streak, and it really began in high school. And I don't know, like I was pretty good at school. My sister struggled at school. I loved to party. And my sister was like, meh about partying, And so like, it was kind of like that, good cop, bad cop with my parents. You can't have it both ways. Like they figured me out, and then my sister was like, haha, here we go.
Right.
Okay, so my friends and I, we like to party and whatever. So, Nancy Street House. Okay. My girlfriends and I were like hanging out in the basement because my mom was like, you don't need to be out places where I don't have an eye on you. Come home and, you can have friends over here. And we're like, yeah, whatever.
I gotta say something real quick. Nancy Street House is where they lived. I was trying to think out, have I met Nancy?
I was doing
Sorry.
the same thing. I'm like, okay, I've never met her or heard of her before.
That's
but
fair.
Because you go Nancy Street House. And
Nancy Street House. A lot of people know that reference.
Right.
At one point, people could like check in to the back porch.
Chelsea said that too. That's hilarious.
Nancy Street, yeah. It's a little redneck, looking back. It's like not really like noteworthy, but it was a thing.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, fair. Okay, so Nancy Street, mom was like, whatever, like bring your girlfriends here. And we're like, okay, whatever. So at the time, my youngest sisters were little, okay? And so we were all hanging out in the base. We lived in the we kind of joke. The Strohs were in the basement and the Kudrins were on the main level.
Right.
Elsie and Karis, okay?
Rather than stepchildren in the basement, right?
Naturally.
Yeah.
Where we belonged,
Right.
rightfully so.
Right.
So anyways, the three of us lived in the basement and I had like this corner bedroom. And my girlfriends and I were hanging out and wanted to experiment with some devil's lettuce, okay? But we were in my parents' house, so we were like, we got to figure it out. It's cold outside, like figure it out. And so I was like, I got it. Downstairs was like the utility closet where Dents kept like all the luggage and random crap, but it was also the furnace room. Okay. So back then I didn't know nearly as much about the wires of electricity.
in air circulation.
Yeah, or the air duct events.
Yes. So I was like, we're going to go hide in the closet
Right.
and try this out and
Right.
see how it pans out.
Right.
So, we think we're totally getting away with something. And so we partake in some devil's lettuce. And like back then, it's not what it is now,
Ditchweed.
Oh, dude, seeds and stems and
Yeah.
the whole nine, right? Like we had no idea what we were doing. And, if we really even felt something, I'm still not sure. But anyways, we wanted to see what's up. So in the utility closet, aka the furnace room, we decided to partake. And so we like do what we thought we needed to do, and then we were like back chilling in my room, and Dents comes down and she's like, "Are you guys smoking weed?" And we were like, "No." And she's like, "I can smell it." And I was like, "No, you can't." And she's like, "Look, I can't even look." Can you bleep that name out?
Yes. I'll
Okay.
bleep out Janet's name.
Okay, Janet's name. Look at Janet. Like, she can't even look at me. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, you can smell it throughout the whole house. And I was like, no, you can't. And she's like, yeah, we were laying in bed. It's like 1 a.m. Like, naturally, it woke them up because it's in winter. So
It's the
furnace
beet
is on.
plant, Mom. It's the beet plant.
Carrie's like, you want a sandwich? Right now I want a sandwich. I don't know why.
Are you hungry, Dance? Is McDonald's still open?
Yeah.
So we partook in devil's lettuce, and it pushed all that air up through the whole house. Nice. Yes. Got caught naturally. Dents confiscated what we thought was like a good little, pile.
And smoked it. I
I was
guarantee
gonna
smoked
say.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, she kept that for herself.
Dude, a few years later when I was in college, like I had my girlfriends over and we're like talking like, haha, remember that one time? And Dents was like, I have a confession. And we were like, yeah?
She's a horrible person.
Dude, we took it and smoked it. I was like, what? You're cool with it?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, yes and no. It was like this whole thing. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, come on.
You could have pulled the seeds out, Chloe.
Yes, dude.
That's hilarious.
Yes. And then, it was this whole thing. So, devil's lettuce
My,
in the furnace room.
that's actually, I have a story like that too. My
Okay.
father, a Vietnam veteran and notorious weed smoker.
Okay.
So they had a pretty big house in Pueblo, and my stepmom would not let him smoke cigarettes, anything inside.
Okay.
When the kids were, my brother and sister were younger. So one day she's mad. I came over to the house. I was still in Pueblo at the time. She's mad. I go, Chris, what's going on? She goes, let me show you what your father did. That's okay. This is gonna be a story. This man, of all people make me laugh in life, he does the most, and he's not trying to. Just the way he does shit, I'm like, how are we related?
Mm-hmm.
So we go walking downstairs, and she opens the boiler room, right, the furnace room, and he has got weed plants everywhere. Because she kept like,
In the furnace room.
she's like, Lawrence, are you smoking weed in the house? He's like, no, baby, no, I wasn't smoking. No, baby, no. She's like, are you sure? Because she kept smelling marijuana. So she goes down there, and he has got plant after plant after plant, and all the lights and shit.
No.
I'm like, this is like the biggest. This is not good. You gotta get this shit out of your house, man. My brother and sister are like 8. You know what I mean? They're gonna take him, because Cheech and Chong here. So yeah, that makes me. When he said that, I thought about that right away. So now he's got like he calls it the plantation. I don't know why.
I know why.
Yeah, well, so
What do you mean you don't
I
know
think
It's
why?
not that big.
yeah. But he's got like, I'll bleep that out for sure. He's got this friend out in Pueblo, and they have like a little field with this huge fence around it. And
No.
so, so at night he goes with a shotgun and guards it. Like it's the craziest
Oh,
shit. Yeah.
passion.
Yeah.
Against the plantation.
Yeah. So
So there's more of me out there?
no, there's more of you out there. He's a big Mexican in Pueblo named Larry. So
Okay.
yeah, he has
Noted.
He's got this old Mexican with a shotgun guarding his weed, These kids that are home, God knows what's going on with them, if they're safe or not, but the plants are safe. That's what's important. So
I mean,
Priorities.
exactly.
When you-
Protect the crop.
right, when he had the heart attack, the doctor's like, he's got to quit smoking marijuana. And I'm like, I'll go in with you and tell him, because he's going to have heart attack number 2 when you tell him this. And he's gonna want chingazos. He's going to want fighting. Doctor's like, you got to quit smoking weed. You can chew it. You can do edibles, okay? You do edibles. He's like, okay. I'm like, oh my God. Like, he saw the light. So, yeah.
At least he was presented with options.
Well, because a doctor, I mean, you could tell the old Mexicans, you know what I mean? Like, you got to quit smoking weed. And like, yeah, fuck it, death, bring it on. you know?
Right. Yeah. I'll look it right in the eye.
Yeah. The chest pains were uncomfortable, but I just laid down. It'd been fine. I'd have rubbed some vapor rib on it. I'd have been fine. I don't know what all this.
Look the other way, dog.
Yeah.
Give me weed or give me death.
That's right. So yeah. So what do you think about that, Vogue?
That was a good one. I could actually see that kind of happening, especially the part about Dents keeping it
Yeah.
and using it.
Yeah, that might be the one that's the selling point of that too. That porch was a lot of fun, and the few times I was
So
over
fun.
there, I slept in that lawn before. It's
What
yeah.
about the castle? Did you ever sleep in the castle?
My big ass didn't fit in the castle. I mean, I always find it best when you're a big fat guy and sobering up and waking up for a drunk, you don't end up in children's toys. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
That's not you don't want to end up like
Yeah. Understood.
I don't want to like a playground again. You know what I mean? Like the one time you're like, this probably wouldn't have went well. And the wrong person came along,
I'd like to come within 100 yards of a school.
That's right. That's
Just
right.
saying.
That's right. So,
Sorry, son, you have to walk from here. This is where mommy has to quit.
Don't blame me. Blame Yukon Jack for being so delicious.
He'd be like, yes.
This isn't a me problem.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Yukon Jack. Take your pants off, Dad. Don't be making excuses. You sick old bastard.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
I'm leaning towards that being true too. So, but you know what? We got 2 more stories. So,
Truth.
Yep, we can see where it goes.
all right. What do you think, Loke? What's the next one?
I'm going to go with Peruvian squatters.
Okay. So, Cabri and I went to South America, I believe 2012. She took a gap year and she wanted to go and volunteer in South America. And I was kind of like in this like weird space of college, like, you know what, I could take a year off. Why not? And I was, paying leases and my lease was going to be up. And so I decided to go with her. And did you guys ever get blessed with the toilet that we used to fundraise? The traveling toilet. Do you remember that?
Was it the one that sat on top of the Queen's Lounge?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was going to say, I've seen it, but it never showed up in my house.
Okay. So yeah, that was part of like how we got to South America. We were fundraising, whatever. It was a whole thing. Community was involved. So Cabri and I went to South America about 9 months and did volunteer work. And specifically for 6 of those months, we spent in Cusco in Peru. And so we did a little bit of time at like a school and then an orphanage. And that whole time we lived with a host family. And so... third world country, Cabri and I have this video where we're like taking like a video of the landscape, and all of a sudden I was like, get a load of this, and Cabri just goes, poverty.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. But
want-
I mean, like,
Because Gabriel kind of a monster. And
I love her.
yeah.
Also would be a great candidate for this.
We'll go. Okay.
Okay. Anyways, so the way like the town is set up, it's all like public transportation primarily. Like people don't really have cars and stuff there. So it's taxis or buses. And so we kind of learned the ropes initially on how to like what bus to ride to get from our house to the school specifically. And so we rode the same bus every morning. And so one morning, it was like pretty early on, and we also didn't learn Spanish before we went down to South America for a year. And Dens kept saying, like, you guys really need to learn. And we were like, what? No, like, we've been to Mexico a lot. Like, we get by just fine for a week at an all-inclusive resort,
Right,
you know?
right,
Like, why do we need to learn Spanish?
Right.
So we knew nothing going down there other than, like, hola, ¿cómo estás? That type of stuff.
Pero ir a baño.
Exactly.
Where's the restroom?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. You dumbass. So one morning, we rode the bus to the school, like per the usual. And we were like at the complete opposite end of town versus where like our host family was. And it was just interesting. Like it was like this whole stretch of town, and we would like get to like the base and they would drop some people off, and then we would have to like go up through these hills even further on the bus to get to the actual school that we were volunteering or working at. And so one day we rode the bus and it stopped at the base of that hill, and everyone was like shuffling off the bus, and it was apparent that we could not go on any further. And so we're like kind of looking around like, all right, I guess we're just gonna get off with everyone else. And we get off and we like look ahead of us, and there's police in like full riot gear, like shields, face shields, like arm shields, like they're
Right.
batons. What are they called?
Right.
I don't know. They're
batons.
like their whole costume, if you will.
I like what you have going on here, officer, by the way.
It's a good look.
The stick is great.
It was a whole look. Yeah. But there was like a whole row of them, and we're like, what the hell? Okay. So like we keep walking. Every time I think about this, I look back and I'm like, okay, weird choice, but we keep walking. And we like look ahead, and again, it was like on a hill, and there's like partially built buildings, some concrete, some bricks, but nothing was like complete necessarily. And you see just like this like big smoke cloud, and we're like, what the hell? And we like got a little closer, and they're like burning tires, and we're like, okay, interesting. So we keep walking, and the next thing we know, there's like all these people running away, and we're like, what the hell? And we don't speak Spanish, so it's not like we can stop anyone and be like,
Right.
What's a going on? Can you
Yeah.
let us white girls know?
Little help here.
Yeah, because we stuck out like sore thumbs. And so anyways, they're running and we're like, okay, I guess we're gonna go with these guys, because they're all like pulling, their like shirts over their noses, because now the police are throwing like tear gas and what have you.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. And so eventually we get to this point, and these like Peruvian women, babies on their backs, like carrying them, they're like this to us, and they're saying things, but we're just like, we don't know. And so we like hide around the corner with them. And I mean, even in that moment, we still really didn't know. Like, the tires are on fire. The people in their cute costumes are like, upset.
Policia, policia. Muy bueno, muy bueno.
Oh, you're cute. It was a whole thing. And we're like, what in the world is going on? The tear gas, the tires on fire, whatever. And so we hide around the corner with these women, and we're like, we got to get out of here. So eventually, like, we like hitchhike, not hitchhike, but we walk down the mountain, whatever, get back on a bus and go back to our host family. And we're like, what was all of that? Like, we were literally caught in the middle. Like, you could tell, like, the police were obviously like against someone. And turns out the Peruvian government had given these squatters like D-Day, like, you got to get out of here by this date, because they were just living in these like abandoned houses for free. And they didn't get out on time. And so they sent like a police force from Lima into Peru, specifically Cusco, in this very specific area of town, to force these squatters out of the area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so, I mean, obviously, like, we were shaken up, and this is another thing, like, looking back, we like FaceTime Dance, and we're like, what happened? And she's like, come home right now. And we were like, well, I don't think this is normal, like, it's not, it hasn't been a thing leading up to this. And then come to find out, like, our host family had known about it the whole time and like failed to mention or like forgot the date. And we were like, okay, well, that seems like something that maybe would have been nice to know.
Something I could have been told yesterday.
Dude, but like, I feel like Dents was like, petition on the ground, get these girls home, because what's going on?
Right.
Yeah, but we were legit caught in the middle of this like Peruvian riot.
And how easily could that have went south, honestly?
Well, that was Ricky's concern, is like, I mean, like, nothing happened really to us, but like, he was like, that's not always going to be the case. Yeah, and his whole concern was that we were easy targets, being American females in South America. And at first I didn't totally get it, but once we got down there and saw how different we looked versus like, the locals, I was like, okay, Dad might have been onto something here.
Right.
Maybe he does know what he's talking about.
right. Protecting his spawns.
Yeah, that's all he wants to do. That's all. And I mean, honestly, who hates Americans? Everybody.
Everyone.
You know how many cars I'm going to have to sell to pay that ransom?
Exactly. And he is what's the guy? The Taken guy?
Oh, Liam Neeson?
Yeah, he's no Liam Neeson either, And neither is Carrie Coudrin, so.
I don't know who you are, but I can get you a hell of a percentage on a car if you just give me $1 back. Do you like?
Keep the other.
I know Nissans are shit here in America, but for you people, I can get you one cheap.
That was his bargaining chip. And it wasn't going to get us far.
And I know a guy that can build you a garage.
Do with that what you will.
I need the young one. I need the younger one. The older one's got a pot smoking problem in my goddamn furnace. I'm sick of on the first cold day of the winter. It smells like Cheech and Chong live there.
You're welcome.
I don't know. Carrie with a nail gun. That might be a force to be reckoned with.
That might be it. But all joking aside, that could have been really bad for you. That could have been, I mean, you know how lucky you probably are to have gotten away with that?
100%. And it's like ironic now, like thinking back on it. I'm just like, what were we doing? We had no business being there, not speaking the language, just like rocking around like we were untouchable.
Right.
You know?
Because you used to be in America.
Yeah.
In Fort Morgan, Colorado.
And young, you know, like a little bit like ignorance is bliss type of jam.
Right.
Yeah.
We just came up on a podcast, I think, with Ernie when I lived in Pueblo, and Pueblo's obviously no Peru, but it's still a shithole. And there's a park I lived by, and it's a rough park. I grew up in brush. I didn't know anything. I'd walk across there at night by myself. to go to 7-Eleven or go to the bar or something.
And probably didn't think twice.
Yeah,
of it.
and my uncle was like, "What are you, insane? Are you lost your mind?" I'm like, "What's the matter? Like, they're gonna rob you, stupid. That's what's gonna matter. The $5 you have in your pocket is no longer be your $5, moron." But it's, when you go to a small town, sometimes you don't take into account that kind of thing. I mean, would you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Small town mindset. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and like our level of exposure at that point, like I said, was like Mexico all-inclusive resorts.
Right, right.
No real exposure to like third world true poverty.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there was definitely a disconnect in that sense, in that like, oh, we'll just figure it out. It's going to be fine. What's the worst that could happen?
Right.
You know?
You could be dead, murdered, raped, sex trafficked, whatever.
Dude, so many options.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options.
Yeah, they are.
Take it or leave it, really.
I mean, look at this. 2 perfectly good white girls just walking around.
Yes.
It's like if we found $20 on the road, like, all right, this is fantastic.
Honest, I could do so much with this here.
Yeah.
Where they come from, it's probably not a lot, but here.
Yeah, right. I could start my own place. Yeah, it's crazy. No, that's scary stuff. You guys should be counting your lucky stars.
Yeah.
So how old were you back then?
So I would have been 2012. I would have been 22, but Cabri was 18.
Right.
I mean, she was fresh out of high school.
That's nuts. That's
Nuts.
so crazy.
Yeah, I know. And now I think about, like, I have one kid, but still, if he ever was like, Mom, I think I'm going to go to South America, I'm like, the fuck you are.
Yeah.
But you did it. I know.
Yeah.
And I'm dumb.
Yeah. You're going to say no, Wild. You can't. That's not what I'm going to call him. So,
Fair.
all right. What do you think?
I don't know. It's one of those deals where it's hard to tell because I get like all wrapped up in the stories and I forget to like I'm supposed to be paying attention to stuff like, I don't know, body language and her lying to me.
Are you reaching over and checking your pulse? Or
And the lie detector
keep telling me about the bus. Chloe, but give me your hand while you're talking about the bus.
Watching for eye dilation.
Yeah. At no point in time, the chicken on the bus next to you never warned me. That kind of shit. You could have said some chicken, you son of a bitch.
What do you think?
I think it's. I'm leaning towards true. I remember you guys going on that. I don't remember a lot about it, but I remember you guys. Okay, I remember you guys at one of your weddings talking about it. Because one of you guys gave speeches at each other's wedding, and I remember one of you gave. I think it was you giving it at Cabri's wedding, a speech about going to Peru. So I know you went, but I don't know.
That's like, I know you went, but that's about all I know.
You were there too, weren't you? Were you there for that wedding?
For Cabri's now.
No.
But you were there for mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because Harley was there. That's right.
Yeah, we had her helping us.
You missed the crazy one.
Cabri's.
It was a good time.
It was a good time.
Yeah, I asked your mom about it the next week. She's like, oh, I said something about her. That wedding reception was a good time. She's like, oh, you don't even know.
There was an early last call.
Aunt Wendy. Shut it down, Larry. I got some Biggie next. Shut it down.
Remember the girl that was on your DJ stand scratching the records?
Oh my, who
you
was
were
that?
So upset.
I was pissed.
Yeah, one of Cameron and Jamie's friends from the
my.
Springs, and we were all like, "Yeah, scratch the records."
My toy.
Usually when we DJ, he would do the DJ stuff, and I would be like the security that would stand out front and keep all the drunks away from the.
So you were
from
missing
the DJ.
this piece of your equation.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the wedding that somebody smashed into the DJ booth. Remember that? And it all went tumbling down and cracked the screen on the laptop. And it was.
I do remember.
It was a good time though. It's a fun memory. So.
I'm glad you remember it that way.
A little bit. No, I didn't drink that one. I think I drank at yours though.
Good.
Yeah, I remember.
Remember when Elsie got locked in the bathroom?
Oh, that's about when that stopped. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
They thought they lost one of their sisters,
Ideally, we're done getting married, so.
Well, you still got Gage and 2 younger ones.
True. I mean, me and Cabri.
Okay.
You know.
The troublemakers. The Peruvians. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I'm glad we picked this one for last because this is one I want to really hear. So, last one.
I'm getting drunk on a plane.
Okay. So Carrie, he goes by Coots sometimes. And either of you partied with Coots?
Come on.
Have you?
A little.
Okay.
Not a lot.
Dude, I don't know what it is about that guy, but he just gets a hold on you.
Yeah, he does.
And you're like, I can do this, you know? I fully could not do this. So we went to California. We travel every other year for Christmas, ideally. Like in lieu of gifts, we all go on a trip together. So 2-3 years ago, pre-COVID, we went to California. And we were coming back. It was the day we were traveling home, and we had found these peanut butter milk stout beers. I love me a good stout. Yeah, dude. Well, now I feel that way.
Yeah.
You know, and stouts are tricky because they're so good, but they're so high in alcohol content.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
but I was like, challenge accepted. Like, we're going beer for beer, Coots. Here we can go, you know?
Yeah.
So we're getting down on the peanut butter stouts to start. And then some Coors Light, naturally,
Sure.
because it's Coots.
Well.
We get to the airport, and we are still trying to get rid of the stouts, mind you, as we're walking into the airport. So we get checked in, whatever, and like, I don't know, to take like a personal like inventory. How are you feeling, Chloe? Like, that didn't happen. Okay. So I'm like, airport bar, let's go. So we go to the airport bar, continue to drink, make friends, who I was just talking about with him. We met this gal who was like going to Vegas one night for the Bruno Mars concert. Like, I was like here, right? I was
Right.
like still on at that point,
Right.
but not turning it off by any means. So we had a flight from California to Arizona and then Arizona home. So, I mean, I have a feeling my husband probably knew, like, Chloe needs to pump the brakes. But once I get in, like, once I'm trying to keep up with Coots, like, you can't turn me off.
Yeah, it's odd.
Yeah, challenge
Yeah,
accepted.
it's personal pride at this point.
Right,
I get
dude?
it. I get
Right,
it.
I made it this far.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get on the plane, and John and I have the row, and he reminded me that he very specifically took the window seat so that I could have the aisle if I needed to go to the bathroom.
Sounds like he knows you.
May or may not know me. No middle passenger at that point. At this point in the story, I brown out. It's not a like total blackout. It's just a little bit like specifics are touch and go.
I mean, when you're telling this to your alcohol counselor someday,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a blackout. Just so you know, they're gonna.
Okay.
They're not
They
gonna
don't
butt-
accept brownouts?
No, they're like you blacked out.
Oh, all right. Noted.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So I brown out. I'm still going to go with it until
Okay.
it's, you know, I have to admit
Until
it.
you go, I'm Chloe, and I have okay.
Yeah. Hi, my name. Yeah. I'm not doing that yet,
Okay.
especially not on this.
Yeah, right. I get you.
Okay. So, on that flight specifically, I may or may not have like filled a bag and like all I know is that when I came to, I looked over and my husband is like staring at me and I like look down and there's just like a mess and I'm like okay.
Your lap smells like peanut butter stout.
Exactly.
Okay.
Minus the jelly.
Right. Right.
Minus the jelly.
Right.
And so I'm like, I'm going to need some napkins. So I'm like doing my best with like airplane napkins to clean up what had happened, but there was no going back, you know? So we get to Arizona, we get on our connecting flight, and I get on, and at that point, I had to like change my shirt because my shirt was not, I couldn't wear it. End of story. Still can't. It got tossed. And the flight attendant comes up to me and she's like, hey, were you just wearing a pink shirt on a connecting flight from California? I was like, uh-huh. And she's like, I'm going to have to ask you to get off the flight. And I was like, excuse me? And she's like, yeah, I mean, like, it was Southwest, you know, it's not like they don't talk to each other. And they're
Right,
like, well, we were notified that you are intoxicated and got sick, and we can't allow you on this flight. We're gonna have to ask you to leave.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah, my husband was like, yeah, biatch. You know?
When we said that, then she asked us where the furnace was because she wanted to get high.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any squatters or furnaces that you can point me in the direction of? Because that seems to be where I flourish.
You know what I want right now? A good tire fire. Set the mood.
Yeah. So you
I got kicked off. Yeah.
So where were you?
Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, that was our connecting flight. So we got kicked off the Arizona flight. Had to wait like 24 hours for the next flight until Mama sobered up.
Oh no.
And then got a rock back home.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. Kicked off. And you know, like looking back, I'm like, how did I not get kicked off the first flight? But I hadn't been in that state until we like the motion caught up with me.
Here's what I picture. Chloe just sitting there all peaceful sleeping. I was like,
yeah, I really think that's what happened.
Just comes out.
I really think that might have been what happened because like we were in the back of the plane. I know for a fact we were.
Right.
How did I not just be like, I should go back here and make a fool of myself in private?
That's why it's a blackout, Chloe, because you don't remember.
It's a brownout, Larry.
It's like a little vomit fountain coming out of you, like it's part of the ambiance, you know.
It's bubbling out like a volcano.
Blonde chick smells like peanut butter.
Filled up an entire bag, guys.
That's amazing. I gotta be honest. I've had every drunken experience on the planet, Chloe, and that's the one I have not had yet. So
okay.
Good on you, dude.
I one-upped you.
You did one up me.
So when I got kicked off, and the flight attendant was like, "You gotta go." My tagline, I just looked at her and I was like, "That's fair." So now it's like a thing with my family. If you receive news that you're not particularly fond of, that's fair.
That's fair. That's awesome. We come back from Vegas. It was me and Tim and his sister Tish and Jason Miller. And it was a bunch of us. We were coming back. We got hammered the night before, right? Like I wasn't feeling great, but I was managing. Tish, on the other hand, you could tell the hangover had started setting in. And we got on that plane. I'm sitting here, and she's a seat ahead of me in the aisle, both of us. And as the plane takes off, I can just see the look on her face. It's coming. It's
familiar.
She's like doing like the I'm going to give birth breathing. Like, and I'm thinking, let it happen. Please let it happen. I'm like so rooting against her because I'm like, oh my God, you nasty son of a bitch.
Who is she? Who's she with?
Yeah. And she was like rocking and just I mean you could it was not good. So she didn't she held, hey, my friend Tish is a trained professional.
Come on,
okay?
whatever,
like,
Tish, brag about it.
She might have swallowed it for all I just you know.
There was no peanut butter in her system.
No, there was everything else. We drank everything. Like it was bad.
It's the worst feeling.
Yeah.
It is.
She's the girl that when you go to Vegas and they have like little like skull cups and they're mixing the drinks in it, she's like, just put more vodka in there. You quit fucking around. You know what I mean? What's it coming out of your check, bro? Do it to it. You know, the guy's like,
she's just down for the challenge.
And she, so
honestly, I admire those people because clearly I can't hang. At least not with Coots.
So, I mean,
probably not with Tish.
And every time someone comes on, there's always one story I want to be true, and this is the one I want to be true in the worst way.
Right?
So.
Thanks.
Here's why your family's so great. Is that if it's true I haven't heard that story, it's because there's always a story with your clan.
Always.
And I love it.
Always.
I'm a little jealous of it some days. You know what I mean?
Are you?
So, yeah, dude.
We take in strays.
You know what? You might have to take this one in. I used to hang out there quite a bit. That's what I got mad when you guys moved. You were dancing them, because I used to crawl to their house sometimes. It was a wine tasting gala at the Elks. And I remember Carrie walking out. He's like, are you good? We're going to the house. And I was like, and at that point I was good. And then I said, well, I probably have 17 more glasses of wine and still drive, So I walked over there, and I remember passing out on the couch.
Where did you walk from?
The Elks. Yeah.
To Nancy Street?
Yeah.
That was a jaunt.
Yeah, well, I made it. Listen, I'm like a
drunken navigation over here.
I'm like a drunken pigeon. Like I don't find my way home.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I will find my way home. Once I'm home, the lights go out, man. There's no brown out. There's a black out.
Yeah.
And I remember crashing on the couch in the living room, the one against the wall, dude.
Yeah.
I remember just like half strung. Like I probably kept dancing Carrie up like, Jesus, just put the pillow where I mean.
Dents has a pretty solid snore on her.
Does she?
So like,
I wouldn't know because I'm sure I was too close to myself. I was so out, man. So.
Poor Carrie.
Yeah.
Honest, right?
How did I end up with a fat snoring Mexican on my couch? How did we come to this? this right here.
You know, Carrie doesn't ask a lot of questions.
No, he doesn't. Dude, your stepdad's the shit. He's so great. And by the way, if you're at home listening to this, he's on this episode.
Yeah.
Carrie Coudron, the goat episode.
Goat, yeah.
That's probably one of the best stories
Yeah,
told on
I
here.
was so confused. The whole time I was listening, I was like, that's not one of them?
No, because
Yeah.
he thought I'd heard it before.
No, I was glad he told it in the end.
Yeah, so was I. So, yeah. Well, I know it's not one of the stories, but you said you did have one extra story you wanted to tell. That's not part of this.
No, I don't want to tell it.
Oh, we're not going to tell a story
No,
now.
we're not going to tell it.
Okay.
It's trashy.
I love trashy.
It's not a good look.
It made, it's my friend Tish. It's a story that, I'll tell my story that's kind of like it, okay?
Okay.
My friend Tish is a walking story in herself. So Tim and Crystal, and it's a party at my neighbor's house. Everybody's getting hammered at this thing, right? And Tim and Crystal show up. And Crystal's pregnant, right?
Okay.
So
Thanks for that. by the way.
yeah. She's pregnant, not pregnant like in her neck, but in the belly, right? That's where the babies go. So they don't get stuck in the throat. News to me. Anyway, so she's pregnant, and some girl, they get mouthy and shoves Crystal.
Oh, the pregnant one.
Yeah, shoves the pregnant one. So Tishy, being Crystal's sister-in-law and their friend, we'll call her Janet, dragged this chick out the street, just kicked the shit out of her, like,
No.
yeah, putting the boots through her. I'm like,
No.
wow, this is, I mean,
But also.
yeah, I love Crystal. Like it's like my best friend. I'm like, I'd jump and stop this, but she did shove you and you're pregnant. So this chick, so it turns out that girl slumped up to his spare bedroom, vomited everywhere,
Oh.
and then, left. And I guess,
Janet?
yeah, well, the guy owned the house. I said his name off the. There's gonna be a lot of beep beeping in this, like it's a Morse code episode. I guess he never goes to that spare bedroom, and he did like after a month.
No.
Yeah, he said
A
it.
month?
crap.
Well, he never goes in there, He lived by himself, and so I guess he opened it up. It's like,
Sell the house.
didn't smell like peanut butter.
I could take
Turns
care of the furnace room for it.
He did sell that house, and I was actually thinking about buying it.
Oh, well, you know.
I didn't know that part, though.
You did. A month.
Yeah, well, a couple weeks at least. It was a while.
Still.
Yeah.
Anything more than a few days.
Yeah,
Too
yeah.
much.
And I guess it was like, it wasn't a classy Chloe, just kind of let it flow onto your lap thing. It was
classy.
like poltergeist possessed by the devil shit.
Projectile.
And she'd been kicked in the stomach numerous times before this, so I
Oh
mean,
my god.
I kind of get it. So.
Like you're stirred up a little.
But before we move to the guessing, if you ever come back on this, Chloe, you're going to tell me the trashy story.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm going to give you a chance to make peace with it.
Okay.
And after we're done doing it, and this is all off, not recording, you're going to tell me anyway. So,
Okay, that's fair.
all right, this is the point. Do you have a front runner?
No.
I
No.
actually don't either. You've done pretty well.
Really?
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
done an amazing job.
You have done a good job. So, I have one I think is true for sure,
Okay.
but there's two.
Torn
All right.
between, huh?
Yeah,
What are you
so-
torn between?
Well, we're gonna get there.
Oh,
let's
okay.
Not get
I'm
pushy.
so
Let's not
excited.
get pushy, Hirschfeld. Okay.
Well, I thought for sure I was going to sell myself out at some point.
no, not yet.
And I told my mom, I was like, I've been studying, and they pay attention to details, so I got to really be
See, that's the thing. You did such a good job. I got all wrapped up in the story that
Yeah.
didn't pay attention to anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
It's like I was
Love
just sitting
it.
here talking with friends. It's like, oh, shit, I got a job to do.
Yeah. And the whole time I'm thinking, I don't even listen to stories. I'm thinking, when we get to Badmouth Carrie?
Did it.
God, talkie. Come on, Hirschfeld. Get over with it.
And on.
Yeah. Okay. So now we rock, paper, scissors.
I got to say, I'm 1, 2, 3, shoot.
You're a four pumper too.
I am a 4 pumper. I've heard the debacle, and I also listen to Carrie, and it is always 2 out of 3 in my world. Not that you have to do that here, but I just
You're
I
gonna
support it.
complicate things. This guy tried to bring in
That's
some Spock dinosaur.
Do
Oh.
a rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock.
The hell is
From
that?
Big Bang Theory.
Okay, what happens?
I,
I mean, one more time for the kids at home.
I honestly don't know if I could remember it.
It's a thing. It's on one of the podcasts. I can't remember which one it was.
Okay.
It was on,
Get back to me on that.
who was it? Because they asked me, do you even have a
It was
hobby?
Chelsea. It
you
was
even
Chelsea
have a
Schrader's
hobby?
podcast. Yeah. Because he goes into it's like
It's a thing.
quantum physics. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So on 4, right?
All right. Damn it, you got me again. Got me
Did you
again.
lose at the last one?
Yes, he went rock, I went scissors.
I am kicking ass this
Nice,
time.
dude. Nice.
Yeah.
A win's a win.
Okay, I have a suggestion for that. The whole rock.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I'm just,
I've been at home practicing in front of the mirror. You know how hard that is to win in front
How
of the
about
mirror?
this?
That's fair.
Just so it's kind of, because I'm 4, you're 3, how about we do whatever the guest does?
Fair enough.
So
Which
if
you
they say,
did.
right.
Yeah.
But if somebody says 3, then we'll do 3.
Well, that's
if they're
how-
a 4,
that's how I've
then
Do you
we'll
think
do a
that's
4.
going to make you start winning?
At this point, I've lost so damn
All
many.
right.
it's
Okay,
not
we're
gonna
just like
make a
down to
difference.
try whatever.
For fun. 3 for fun. Ready? Oh, damn it. So you got me going 4. Okay, ready? You've warped my mind. Ready? Ready?
This is a disaster.
One more time. Ready?
Is it 3 or 4?
This is why. That's why Adam and I can never make love. We have no rhythm.
This would be a literal shit show. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Oh, you got me.
Did you just raise your eyebrows at me over rock, paper, scissors?
I'm very proud of myself, Chloe.
Okay.
I want to start like a underground thing where I make money. Like we don't talk about rock paper scissors club, you know, like
Oh. Yeah.
tennis elbow. All right, man. Well, since I didn't lose, I guess you have to go first. Our 3 stories are Peruvian squatters, I'm getting drunk on a plane, and devil's lettuce.
Like I said, I am so screwed on this deal. It's just, I should rock, paper, scissors to see which one I should pick.
Is there one you think is true? Do you have a one that you're convinced is not it?
No, not really. I mean,
Really?
like I said, this has only happened to me like maybe once or twice before. Because there's usually one that really stands out, and one that's like, and then
Yeah.
there's the other one's like, oh yeah, that's got to be
Yeah.
You've done a good job. I'll give you
Honored
that.
to be
Yeah.
the second.
Yeah. It's dead air, Adam.
it. I know
much
this is dead.
contemplation.
Should I be whistling like the Final
No,
Jeopardy
just like
theme
run us
song?
through your thought process.
Yeah.
Well, it's just one of those things where I know you guys went to Peru.
Okay.
I can see you totally getting drunk on an airplane. And then high school girls not knowing about air circulation, that's totally doable too.
That checks out.
So it's like, check. You're checking all kinds of boxes here. I don't know. I'm going to say I'm getting drunk on a plane.
Okay.
You just
I'm just kind of throwing it out there. I
Wow.
think if you would have got kicked off the plane, I would have probably heard about it. Because, I don't know. Well, this was only a couple of years ago. So your mom wasn't working at the gym then, was she? Because she was my
don't
trainer
know.
for a while. So I'm pretty
She
sure I would
was.
have heard about it then. I'll stick with it. I'm going to go with it.
So I think Peruvian squatters is true. I think that one's true. I think I'm getting drunk on a plane is true. I think that because I know your family and it just checks out. And I super want it to be true. That's a little selfishness on mine. Devil's lettuce, I don't think is true. I think that's the Bullhucker. I think you might have got high in the basement. I just don't. I don't know. There wasn't a lot of detail of that, but then again, you've been looking to give us detail because she's been watching these things, so kind of screwing ourselves. So I'm going to go with devil's lettuce. You're going to go, I'm getting drunk on a
I'm
plane.
getting drunk on a plane.
All right, Chloe.
Okay. I display.
I'm getting drunk on a plane. Ugh.
I'm back, baby. I'm back.
Damn it.
Okay, but listen.
Yeah, why is that not true?
Well, I didn't. Everything is true up until getting kicked off. I got kicked out of the exit row. I didn't actually get kicked off of the plane. I was sitting in the exit row.
Oh, so you were like in charge of the door if something went wrong.
on the connecting flight. On the connecting flight, the flight attendant came up and she was like, "Hey, did you just come in from San Diego?" And I was like, "Sure did." And she was like, "We're gonna have to ask you to move." And I was like, "That's fair."
That's fair. We need someone with responsibility to save our lives there.
We don't,
You can't handle yourself,
Yeah.
man.
we don't need people slipping as they're going out the door.
That's awesome. That's right.
Yes. So I did not get kicked off, but I got kicked out of the exit
Oh,
row.
my God.
I know.
How'd you afford a drink in the airport, by the way?
Coots?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
There's another Coudron child that's been pawned. I'm thinking that's, there's a third one.
Oh, 100%. Have you seen the life they live?
Yeah, that's it. That's so crazy. Good for you. Damn it. I've 2 weeks in a row I've got it wrong.
I'm a little bit sad devil's lettuce is true, though. I'm not going to lie.
You're not proud of that?
No, sure
There was a
aren't.
lot of crazy stuff in that basement, right? Like, did someone walk in naked on your grandparents at one point in time?
Yeah, Carrie's parents.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
my favorite story too.
Yeah, it was a graduation party,
Yeah.
and someone who was attending the graduation party definitely walked in.
That damn Janet.
Damn Janet.
It was
a male.
Dale, yeah, it was a David. We'll call him David. So.
David walked in on Carrie's parents just trying to slumber.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, you're not wrong, but
By the way, I mean, Carrie's parents are the nicest people
Oh, they're
alive.
cool.
Too. It was at Chloe. No, you were Chloe.
I'm
It's
Chloe.
a Cabry's wedding, I think, where they were sitting at a table. I didn't know who they were, and it was right by the DJ booth, and they just start talking to me, and I'm just like they knew me, you
Yeah.
know. And so I start talking to them, and they're like, "Oh, we're Carrie's parents." I go. And every time I see them, they've been so nice. They've been so polite. But yeah, when I heard that kid walked in on them, just buck naked, and they're like, "Oh, this isn't yours."
yeah, they were like, "Oh, room's taken." Try another one.
Get that mole checked, honey. Get that mole checked. Oh my God.
She hop up to class.
Someone's been taking their vitamins. Good for you, sweetie. Good for you.
Cough.
Yeah. Stay away from my granddaughter. Don't go by the furnace either.
I am sad it's true.
Oh. Well, good job, Chloe.
Thanks,
Well,
man.
half a good job.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Before we go, I want to say, if you're going to watch us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, little red button, or little red by Chloe, little red dot. Hit that dot. If you're watching this on YouTube, I've already said that. I was doing so well.
You were doing great.
If you're listening to us on iTunes or Stitch or whatever, please subscribe and follow us. This comes out every Tuesday. And thank you so much for watching, by the way. You guys have been awesome. So we got a lot of good feedback, and it's been fun. So anything else, guys?
And put your comment on what you think's the
Yeah, make the
Bullhucker.
guess. Yeah, the Kosers, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Kocer, always comment on it. It's been
Really?
Yeah, that's been fun. Yeah.
That's cool.
I think it's a couple. It's PNS Koser, so if I'm pronouncing that. But thank you, Kosers, for watching. So I think they're Jen Neb's friends because they commented on hers too. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
So,
super fun. Cool
yeah.
idea, guys.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
on.
thanks for having me.
All right, I'm Moose
super fun.
Lundstrom.
I'm Adam Vokey.
Chloe Hirschfeld.
Peace out.
Okay, so fun.